Hello YouTubers, Joe Kersey here on Saturday, June 7th, 2014 at around 14:05 in the afternoon Eastern Daylight Time. Now you'll notice that the stuff that was here, which you may have noted in, some videos that were probably about the past month or so, are now here, having been washed, which I bestirred myself off my dead ass today and did. And you'll notice here are the lids, and finally wiped down the stove. I tend to keep the stove wiped down pretty much all the time anyway, because as kind of laissez-faire as I am in many areas of my life, let me cut these lights off. I don't want to pay for power I'm not actually using. Given the expense of electricity up here, which is only set to get more expensive thanks to the carbon dioxide worshipping, climate Nazis. Give me a break. Well, in any case, I turned the lights off, didn't I? Today's been a splendid day. I got a good night's sleep. Paul went off to work at 8. He didn't have to go in at 7 today. Went in at 8. There really wasn't much stuff that I needed to attend to. I pretty much got most of that stuff cleared up yesterday, so I was feeling somewhat adrift. I suppose I could have read something. Anyway, speaking of reading something, I did see that there's a new book out by Philip Jenkins, who is hang on a second, I must check something. That was a phone, and it was a message from Kroger's. Paul has a prescription down there that he needs to pick up. He generally goes down there and picks it up anyway. He'll probably pick it up today without being told about it. Well, after that little caesura, Philip Jenkins. This guy is a religious historian, and I think he's currently in one of the universities in Philadelphia. I've read about 5 of his books. I mean, basically, I'll read anything this man writes. He's got a new one out now, and I can't remember the title offhand. I just bought it on Amazon last night, but it's about religious hysteria and religious movements surrounding the start of the First World War, and then during the First World War, and then after the First World War, and it's just out, and so I bought it. I'll be very interested to read this guy. I mean, this guy is really, really good. I mean, yeah. So that was my little coup today on Amazon. It was only like $19. Only. I remember growing up, if you had said only $19 to either of my parents, they'd have looked at you with mouths agape and astonishment in their eyes and bewilderment on their countenances as to what sort of entity had wandered into their house. Well, times do change. I guess in some cases for the better, I guess. I do like Amazon. I do like being able to go buy books on Amazon. I hate go traipsing down into that hellhole of Polaris Parkway and try to, get around in Barnes and Noble. Well, I digress. So I finally got disgusted with this stack of stuff in the kitchen sink, which I'm sure you all may have been noticing off and on for the last month or so, and washed it. Meanwhile, while I washed it, I watched this. Well, I off and on watched, but essentially I would turn around each time I did an item and look at this video from a guy over in Great Britain who does. Well, he's in Lincolnshire, actually, is where he's located. Who does these farming videos, and since they have very rich, sandy, loamy, sandy soil there in Lincolnshire, on the flats there going out toward the North Sea, this is some of the richest soil in the world in terms of growing certain kind of crops, root crops in particular, potatoes, beets, carrots, that sort of thing, and as well as anything else they care to plant. But these guys plow this ground, like with a standard plow. We're not talking no-till, standard plow. This stuff turns over, so it basically breaks down, so you don't have to work it, but maybe once, and it's ready to be planted. Now, when they do like potatoes and carrots and beets, they do these hills, and they plant the stuff down in the hills, and you've got these little valleys between the hills, because essentially you get about a 15-inch depth right off the bat where the the potato or the beet or carrots can grow down deep, and long. And some of these implements they use over there, I've never seen before. I mean, I had no idea how one actually went about planting potatoes. The only experience I had planting potatoes was you cut them up and you went out with a spade and you dug a hole and you stuck it in the ground. It was very labor intensive, but they've got machines that do all this stuff. It's just astonishing. The guy's name is Chris Carr. CHRISCARR. He's on YouTube, and his stuff is well worth a look. I mean, it's fascinating. Some of it, of course, the more, a lot of the stuff that I'm familiar with how to do. I mean, it really takes me back. I grew up that way. Well, not with that kind of big equipment, but in that sort of environment. So, in between watching the carrots getting planted and washing the crap in the sink, that got done, and then I actually kind of felt myself kind of at loose ends because I'd caught up on all my YouTube stuff, and and I thought, well, it was just so nice out on the deck. So it's almost sinful to be sitting inside the back room here when you can go out on this, into paradise. So I came out here, and now the sun is on the deck, in various places throughout the day. But now that the trees are fully leafed in, you have to sort of pick and choose your moments. And so as you know, we have a very closed in area back here. Allow me to reiterate, recapitulate, I guess. See, it's, you get back here, I don't want to move around too fast. That's an amateur error, isn't it? And, oh, sorry about that. You get back here, I mean, nobody's going to see you. So, that provides, how should we say, ample opportunity to get sun on places where the sun normally doesn't shine, if you get my drift. I'm 62, but I feel like I'm 17, so there it is, guys. That's just how it is. So it's been a very pleasant afternoon. No, I didn't use any sunscreen. No, I didn't grease myself up. Take that, health Nazis. Man up. So that pretty much constitutes my day thus far, except I decided I needed to talk to y'all a bit. Can you hear all that noise going by? Wow. Well. Other people live up here too, I guess, don't they? Oh, I got the second installment of the real estate taxes yesterday. Well, you gotta pay to support all the lifestyles of the people driving by you here, don't you, huh? Yeah, we wouldn't want to have little Johnny going into a school that didn't have terrazzo floors, 2 auditoriums and 2 gymnasiums, 2 tracks, 2 football fields. You know, at each school, by the way, each school, you know, middle school and high schools, the 3 high schools and the I think there are like 6 middle schools. Now, as far as I know, they don't put tracks and football fields in the elementary schools yet. Give me a break. I saw some woman the other day at Giant Eagle, and she had a stroller that looked bigger than one of these little smart cars. Well, it was bigger than one of those smart cars. You know, and in it she had, she actually had twins, or at least she had 2 infants. I don't know if they were twins or not. And of course, you know, she had enough gear in this that probably could have supported 2 or 3 guys out in a remote post in one of these god-awful wars we've been fighting lately. She's going to Giant Eagle. Well, at least she wasn't shoving around one of those awful shopping carts that have all the toy cars in front and all that crap. Boy, I tell you, that's when I wish I had an RPG. Take that out. Ideally without the occupants in it, but every time I see one of those things, I really wish there was somewhere I could destroy it without going to prison. They're horrible. You know, now I can put up with the motorized sort of wheelchair carts with the big fat ass people, you know, roaming around, because if they can't walk, they can't walk. But we don't need all this. Here's an idea. Why don't you do what we did when I was growing up? Have the kid either walk with you and behave, or leave him in the car, you know, until you come back. You're not going to be gone that long. There's an idea. Let's go back to the future. Well, okay. Those of you with a military background will have noticed that when I came out here initially, I had my 2 beers pre-positioned. Since the United States Army is known for its logistical prowess, I thought perhaps you'd appreciate the fact of my planning ahead. So, bye-bye, YouTubers. Oh! String alert!